What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're jumping into this 2012 Bennche Spire 800. Mike and I have been in contact with each other for a while. He saw my YouTube channel. Been trying to help him out online. He finally said, you know what, dude, I'm going to bring this thing to you. He drove 10 hours from Houston, Texas to here in Ozark, Missouri to drop this off because nobody around there wants to work on these things. Even though we all know around Dallas and Fort Worth is where you get most of your parts, distributors and stuff like that for this. But anyway, so he's had quite a few issues. He got this thing and it happened to be sunk. He got it for a pretty good price, but he's got a problem. He's got the fuse would pop every time he hooked up the four-wheel drive relay module controller or whatever. So I've been going through that off camera here, and I finally got that figured out. So let me talk to you about it real quick. So basically this is what it is right here. This little guy right here that hooks in for the four-wheel drive locking differential. So what I ran into is that on the plug, and of course, not even the wiring diagram I have is not even close to being the same color as the wires in here. I just kind of had to trace those out and realize what works what by looking at the wire diagram. So I got to looking and I was like, man, maybe I've run into this problem in the past with these that the wiring is not done right. Now, he did get this from somebody else, not saying that he did the wiring or the other guy did or whatever it may be. But what was happening, every time you hook up the power to this, it would pop the fuse instantly. I unplugged everything, like literally everything. ECU, 9-pin connector, all the relays, you name it, I unhooked it. And as soon as you plug it in, pow, it would blow the fuse. So I knew right off the bat we had a short to ground somewhere. Checked the wire, ran the colors, followed that all the way back to the fuse box, followed it all the way back, right back to here. And I saw that in the connector itself, if I don't drop it some more, way it goes in is sideways like this. Basically on this, on top it was a black, and then like a, golly, I gotta look again. A brown, it was a brown white, and then a brown white, and then a brown right here. So, so they kept popping. I'm like, I ran across this before. So what I did, took my multimeter and came in here and probed these little guys right here. So basically what happened, you go from this pin to this pin, you get continuity. From here to here, nothing. From this pin to that pin, nothing. So I knew right away that was a circuit, and the same thing over here, from here to here, that was a circuit also. So I'm going, huh. So what I ended up doing, I took the two ground wires, stuck them here and here, knowing that completes a circuit for those two, and then the power wire and the wire that runs back to the four-wheel drive here and here. Turned the key on, pow, popped it. So I was like, okay, swap those out, put those two here, put the two ground wires here on this side instead, and then the power and the out lead to the four-wheel drive on this side. Turned the key on. I didn't have any issues with the fuse popping. So I knew we had this pretty dang close over here. So I checked over here and I was only getting 5 volts out of the top, which on the way the plug was set up, it was actually the orange and black wire or white wires coming out of the bottom over here. So I put it up here instead and I had no fuse popping. So I went back and I swapped the power wire from the bottom to the top and put the output wire on the bottom here and checked again, and then I had 10.3 volts coming out of the top. Now the battery's probably a little low because I've been cranking on it and stuff like that, off and on, leaving the power on. So now we got that problem figured out. Lo and behold, I'm glad again, it's a ground and a ground, which is black and black. And then I gotta look again, I'm partially colorblind, so bear with me, guys. What looks to be like a brown and white wire for the power right here on the bottom, or sorry, for the out on the bottom, which runs back to the four-wheel drive. And then looks like a straight brown wire on the top, but comes out of the fuse box as a brown and blue, goes right here. And that runs all the other relays also on this thing. All the little relays are hooked up all over. So that's what it is. I have, again, we're going, as we're looking at it, it's black and black, brown and white out, and the top one power in closest to the other plug. And then on the top, we have the actual power out back to the four-wheel drive relay or whatever that runs to. I'd have to look again to see where that runs to exactly. So took me a while, took me quite a few hours to get all that figured out. So that's where we're at now. But the next problem is you go to fire it up and it cranks over, wants to hit fire. It'll fire off of ether and run for a minute. So I'm going to take a look at the fuel injectors on this thing. I'm going to pop them out off the camera I might even pop them out on camera real quick. I'm gonna finish this up first, and then I'll go ahead and pop those injectors out, and we'll see if the fuel injectors are actually shooting fuel like it's supposed to. And we'll also check the fuel tank to make sure we don't have bad fuel in it. All right, we'll try to get a close-up of this, guys, and gals, or people. So you can see, it'll look very clear in my view here, but if you can see black, like brown on top, which is the power in, and then this green white, brown white. I'm not very good with colors. Once again, I'm partially colorblind, so it's hard. And then on top is the green black, brown black. I'm sorry, guys. I'm horrible with colors. Again, so at first, remember, it was black up here, and then they had both wires down there popping fuses. And so that's how this is set up. No more fuse popping. You hear all the relays click when you push the buttons. So that's a good thing there. So now I'm going to jump into pulling out the injectors and to see if I'm actually getting fuel firing out of those real quick. All right, guys, so we're definitely going to unplug both the spark plugs this time. Like my dummy self didn't do that last time. Got a little puff back. So let's go ahead and knock these guys out. Ooh, those seem kind of loose. Don't want to drop those down in there. So here's what they consider cylinder number 2. I believe. I'll have to double check that. Yeah, cylinder 1 should be 1 in the back, 2 in the front. So let's go ahead and turn the key forward. See if we get any fuel shooting out of it. Barely any fuel, but you can see it's pandering out like that. We're definitely going to pull that out, throw that in my fuel injection cleaner, and try to clean that. So let's go on and pull this out here real quick. Actually, I'm going to leave that in there until I check the rear one. That way this thing doesn't go blasting out all over the place. So there's that. We'll put that one, we'll unhook that. We'll go ahead and get the rear one out, which is cylinder 1 on here. And the gas, I don't know. I don't know if that's good smelling gas, bad smelling. I can't really tell just yet. All right, let's grab these guys here. I want to make sure I don't lose these little spacers. All right, let's check this rear cylinder 1. Might be kind of hard to see. I'm just going to kind of squirt it towards the back. But they're both barely squirting. So I'm going to pull these off, throw them into my Motion Pro fuel injection cleaner, and try to get them cleaned out, make sure there's no junk in there, and see if we can't get these guys to squirt a little bit better. That could be our problem with why this thing isn't firing up, because it's barely squirting. And then after that, we'll go ahead and we might be able to check fuel pressure. I'll have to double check the kit I have to see if I have the right one that fits this. I don't remember if I do or don't, but we'll jump off camera. I'm gonna clean these out. We'll throw them back in and see if they squirt any better. All right, guys, got the injectors cleaned out. So let's see if these guys shoot any nicer. Now we got nothing going on. Let's try again. Oh, I see a huge misfire down here. It was firing off of the railing. But now I'm not getting any fuel at all out of these guys. That's a really interesting part right there. So let's see, listen for the fuel pump again. We'll let it sit here for about 20 seconds. But I was getting a misfire down here. Don't know why. I don't know if I was getting it off of one of those guys or what the story was. That's pretty interesting. Nothing at all. Nothing at all. Why would those guys not be shooting? So let's jump down here. Let's take a look at my scanner real quick. If I can not beat the crap out of you guys. So the plug's back underneath there. Let's go up and read codes. We gotta jump back into the ECU real quick. Read codes, injector 2 malfunction. Yeah, that's us, so we erase that. Yep. Let's try read codes again. No ECU faults. All right, so back up here again. Guys, look like it's a little dirty. All right, back up here again. Let's see if we can get anything to get the fuel injectors to fire off. Ooh, yeah. That's better, but I'm still getting a jump spark down here. Let me see if I can. Oh, but don't drop you. Ugh. Watch right down here. Watch this. Oop, that's gonna end up getting me in trouble there if I squirt fuel on that. Did you see that? Did you see how crazy that big old spark that was down there? Insane. So, got to figure out where the insulation's got a problem on that. We'll go ahead and put the fuel injectors back in and then see if we can't figure out where that insulation problem is on that. All right, guys, so I'm gonna go ahead and check fuel pressure first before we get into that insulation. So I got my little fuel pressure gauge hooked up here. Let's see what we got as far as fuel pressure goes. Nothing yet. Shut it off for a minute. I don't even think I hear the fuel pump. I don't even hear the fuel pump going. I'll wait 20 seconds, 30 seconds maybe. And we'll try again. I'm gonna get down here and listen next to it. There it goes. So I'm not getting any reading at all. So we probably got a bad fuel pump on this thing, which kind of sucks because actually to get to that fuel pump, you have to take this front piece off. I think slide the tank forward to get the fuel pump out. Yeah, we got nothing going on there, no pressure at all. So I'm going to chalk that up to a bad fuel pump, and we'll see if we can't get that figured out here. Yeah, it's nothing. All right, so we'll get a fuel pump ordered up and move on to the next thing. All right, so we got the fuel pump in, stuck it in there, just slid everything back. Kind of a pain in the butt to get it all out, but no big deal. So let's go ahead and prime up the system a couple times here. I can hear it prime up. We'll let it turn it off. I'll let it set for about another 10 seconds. And we'll go ahead and prime up the system one more time and see if this bad boy fires up or not. All right, I hear it. We'll bring you up a little bit. All right, turn the key. Aha! It fires up, so that's a plus. Sounds like it might have a little bit of a miss, but it starts. That's a huge plus right there. So we know it starts now. I can definitely hear it has a slight miss. And on the dash is showing neutral and reverse, so I'll have to look into that. That could be that reverse, there's a reverse speed limiter on here. I might need to take that wire out of the ECU. That way it doesn't show that anymore. So we'll go ahead and figure out what's going on with that. I'll have to dig into this a little bit further to see what's up with that. All right, guys, so on this Spire, the ECU is back down in here. It's usually up there. I took it off. So what we're gonna do, what I did here, I took off the reverse speed controller, or not reverse speed, but reverse limiter wire out of the ECU connector, because this thing was kind of hesitating when you gave it a little bit of gas. So basically what it is, you pull off this gray plug right here, and it'll be labeled on the back 10, and you count from, you know, say 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way, that'll be 10 all the way to the right. Count back 3, 1, 2, 3, that'll be 16. So you can go 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I go from the inside and I pop the pin out to make sure that is actual cause. And I'll leave that out and we'll let it hang there. Come back up here. Let's fire this thing up, see if we still have that stutter. Turn the key forward, wait about 5 seconds for fuel pump to prime. Let's fire it up. That sounds way better already. We'll give it a second to catch up. Give it a little bit of gas, see what happens. See that? No more hesitation on that motor. I will turn around and I will, after I get this thing all back together, I will do a full ECU reset. I'll show you guys how to do that later on in the video. It's a pretty simple deal, you know, same thing. You just, I'll tell you how to do it and then I'll show you. I'll tell you now. Turn the key forward, wait 5 seconds for the fuel pump to prime up. Start it up, make sure your motor's warm, let it warm up for a couple minutes. Then you hold the accelerator all the way down to the floor, wide open for 5 seconds, okay? It has a rev limiter. It's supposed to not let it damage the motor. No guarantees ever when you're on the rev limiter. I don't care what anybody says. It's supposed to prevent that from happening, damage, but it can happen. So you hold the throttle down for 5 seconds, wide open, let it scream for 5 seconds, bouncing off the rev limiter. With your foot still all the way down on the throttle, shut the key off and let the motor rev all the way down until it stops with your foot still on the throttle, wide open. Let off, and then wait about 15, 20 seconds. Turn the key back forwards, let it prime again, fire it up, and then take it out for a drive in different throttle positions to let the ECU now relearn what's going on. I'll show you guys how to do that probably towards the end of this video. I'm gonna try to fix all this crazy wiring up that he's got all over the place, and then try to put this thing back together, and we'll take it for a drive and see how it runs. All right guys, so I got you on the helmet. It's a hot day today. Let's fire this thing up. I got it partially back together. I still can't get rid of the reverse light there. No point in having those lights on. I know all the blinkers work. All right. There's reverse. See how this thing runs now. Take a little cruise around the front yard. I don't beat my head to death. She's got a little pep, pick up and go, that's good. Brakes aren't the greatest, but they work. She's got a little bit of a hesitation. Trying to hit my head on the crossbar. Yeah, she works, she spins. Let's get a little run up the driveway here. The burn pile from all the storm debris the other day. Oh yeah, she works. She gets sideways if she needs to. Don't want to tear the yard up too much. So everything feels like it's running pretty good. Had a little bit of a hesitation when I got down the throttle hard. Take it easy across the bridge. You don't want to get too crazy and fly across the street with a stuck throttle or something. Yeah, you can see where it spun up right there. So yeah, she works. Four-wheel drive works, I know that. Tried that out. I know low range works, but that reverse light's still on. It's probably something to do with the gear position sensor. But so yeah, I think we got this thing licked. She starts up, she runs. All the four-wheel drive works. I did that in the shop before I turned the camera back on. So that's awesome. Let's stop here, we'll back it up, see how it goes in the reverse. No problems. And high, we'll pull it back in. Back to neutral. Voila, there we go. Pretty happy with that. So, like always, guys, I'm gonna call it done on this thing here. This 2012 Bennche Spire 800, Massimo, Coleman, Vector, all that good stuff. So you guys saw that we had a problem with the four-wheel drive module, make it go in and out of four-wheel drive. It was just wired wrong for some odd reason, even though it was a stock one from Hysun. What else do we have? Oh, we had to replace the fuel pump, low fuel pressure. We pulled the wire for the reverse speed control, I guess what you would call it. And then again for the to reset your ECU, of course you let it warm up a couple minutes, start it up, let it warm up, hold the throttle flat to the floor, which I already did that on this. I did it off camera. I said I was going to do it on, but I did it off. Flat to the floor for 5 seconds. Shut it off while your foot's flat to the floor. Wait about 5 more seconds. Let your foot off. Wait 15 to 20 seconds. Turn the key back on. Fire it up. And go out riding at the different throttle positions and speeds to let the ECU relearn everything. Again, guys, if you got any questions about motorcycles, ATV, or UTVs, drop a comment down below. Hit me up at limitlessports78@gmail. Find me on Facebook at Limitless Power Sports Service and Repair. TikTok at Limitless Power Sports, Sir and Rep. Again, guys, I appreciate it. If you haven't subbed, please do like the video, and I'll catch you guys on my next upload.